This time on Flippin' Bangers, we go for a real big hitter.
It's a cracking little car, isn't it?
Which offers fun in the sun.
This car has been round the block a few times. But because it's us, oh dear.
It looks like a skinned fish, doesn't it?
You can forget about the fun bit.
Well, this one's rotten.
I've been pulling and nothing's been happening.
It's coming on well, Gus. We've said goodbye to our day jobs and invested our own hard-earned cash as we try and make it in the cutthroat world of second-hand cars.
You've got to buy well, but you've got to sell well.
We have a goal.
We need to double our money. If we put 500 quid in, we need to see £1,000 back. But we're forced to the very bottom of the market.
We buy cars that nobody else wants.
Who else would buy that car?
Can we keep our business afloat, Flipping Bangers?
There's so many things to do to this car.
We've turned our backs on our regular jobs and attempted to carve out a new living by buying and selling cheap cars.
Evicted from our previous workshop by angry neighbours, Will has sorted us out with a new base, and apart from having no working toilet, it feels like home.
We've raided our bank accounts, and this time we have enough to invest around £500 to £1,500 on each car. Aha! Right, I've got it. I am currently forming a plan.
Oh, good.
And it is a brilliant and cunning plan.
All right.
And it is Volkswagen.
Uh-huh.
And the reasoning for my Volkswagen is you can never go wrong with a Volkswagen.
Well, I'm just trying to think, and I'm fully on board with you. And I think, as far as I can remember, all our brushes with Volkswagens have worked out positively. So, yes, as long as we can err towards the more desirable end of the spectrum with Volkswagens, because there's an awful lot that I really don't like.
Yeah, we can definitely. I mean,
And what car do you want? What are you after?
So I suppose in an ideal world, it would be Mark 1 Golf GTI. GTI bit, I mean, that takes it straight out of our league.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I would always err towards a base model Golf, because I think they're funnier. A good Mark 1 GTI would be 15 grand. A base model is 8. Mm-hmm. So really, all we can afford, bizarrely, is a convertible. 4 or 5 grand, 3 or 4 maybe.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, remember back in what we call the day, you know, those days, the coolest car you could imagine owning would be a white Golf convertible. You know, that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think we should look around for a scratchy one of them.
Good news. All the scratchy ones are ex-write-offs, which look like they've been stolen. That's at the 2K mark, but Will appears to have a lead at a shade over that.
Right, come on then, where are we going? What are we up to?
We're off to see a Mark 1 Volkswagen convertible.
All right.
Yeah, so we need to have a good look at it because a rusty one is not worth having, but if it's not rusty, then they do sell. And people want them as well. There's a serious scene out there for modding these things.
Yeah. But you did find one, obviously, otherwise we're just going for a joyride, aren't we?
I did find one for sale, yeah. So the guy that's selling this one, he's an ex-engineer, as it turns out. It's a Clipper, and it's the 1.8. It's quite a nice-looking car. There's a picture on my phone if you want to have a look.
Maybe that.
It was for sale, and then he sold it, and then he got messed around by the buyer. So now it's back on the market, which is our opportunity. So we're going to go and see it right now.
Oh, fantastic. It's weird how that happens, but it happens all the time. We run across it all the time, don't we? People bidding on cars, buying them, and then not turning up. Why would you do that?
I don't know. I don't get it. But I think in this instance, it's actually working in our favour.
Yeah, I guess so. So what are we going to look out for then? What's the things we need to be careful of?
Well, what we're going to look out for is rust.
Yep.
If it's got any rust in it, then we're going to be very sensible and just walk away from the whole thing, and that's it, game over.
Yeah, the other thing with them is hoods, isn't it? Because replacement hoods are extremely expensive, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. So that's it. But I mean, if we can find one with a decent hood that's not rusty as well, I mean, they're bulletproof cars. Yeah. I mean, that's why people want Volkswagens, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we want a Golf with a good hood that's not rusty, that's about half the market price. Well, something's got to give, hasn't it? We arrive in Newark, Lincolnshire, and clap eyes on a possible candidate.
Belle?
No, posh, isn't it?
No, that you used it.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Hey, hi there. You must be John.
I am indeed.
Good morning to you. I'm Will.
Hello, Will.
I'm Gus.
Hello,
Lovely to meet
Gus. Pleased to meet you.
So this must be the little beauty that we've come to have a look at.
It is indeed.
She looks lovely. Have we got anything more you can tell us about it? Any history or anything?
Yes, of course. I've owned it for about 18 years. I knew it before that. It came from a friend, a lady doctor, and she obtained it from her father, who was also a doctor, and he bought it in Chesterfield in 1989. So it's over 30 years old, isn't it? I've done quite a bit to it over the years. Most of the sort of mechanical side of it, I've been really able to cope with the engine, suspension, and all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
And I think now we're at a bit of a turning point for two reasons. One is me. I'm getting a bit too old. I finish up on the floor. It's a struggle to get up. I've got to cling onto the car or wait till somebody comes to me.
You and me both.
And the other turning point, this car, although I think it's mechanically sound, it's at the point where the body needs attention. But if the body is taken care of and the hood and the sort of peripherals and the looks of the thing, I think it's got another life in front of it. Now, it is a classic. Mm-hmm. You know, I believe there are about 40 of these left on the road and licensed.
Is that all?
So they're a dying breed, really. From that point of view, I'd be very pleased to see it go on to another life. And,
It's exactly what we do. That's our USP, isn't it? We'll take it and we'll take it up a couple of levels.
Yeah.
And that's the idea.
I'm sorry to see it go because it's been an old friend.
Yeah.
But if that's what's going to happen to it, I'd be absolutely delighted.
Yeah. Well, can we take it for a
Oh,
drive?
of course you can.
That'd be fantastic. 10 or 15 minutes should
That's
do it,
not
shouldn't
a
it?
problem. You take your time.
Brilliant.
There you go.
Thank you
Enjoy
very
it.
much. Thank you.
See you later.
Cheers. See you shortly.
Bye-bye, Will.
So John says he's done a lot of the mechanical stuff on this car, and that puts my mind at ease a bit.
Yeah. Well, that leaves us in a good place, doesn't it? Because it means we can concentrate our efforts on what we can see now.
Well, yeah, and here we are already. This rear wing, where the hood joins on, there's a severe amount of grot in it there, which doesn't look very pretty at all.
Same this side, and also on where the filler cap is, same, but they did used to go there, didn't they?
Okay, I've got other bits around door handle, bottom of the door. I can see some on the front wing too.
Well, the paintwork on this door needs attention as well. Oh, and that door's dropped a bit, in actual fact.
Okay. Well, this one seems okay, but I suppose this one hasn't had so much use, has it?
No, I guess not.
But it's that interior, isn't it? I mean, it's nice to see that it's all complete.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably original, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's very stained, isn't it? I mean, this is all going to have to be super cleaned, isn't it? We're going to have to deal with that. That is one of the big things we're going to have to do, because no one when the hood's down and someone comes to buy it, they're going to see this, aren't they?
They are. And they're not going to buy it, are they?
No. It's good. I mean, it's lovely, though, isn't it? It's stood the test of time, hasn't it?
Well,
and it's still tight. Feel it. It's snug.
Oh, that is really nice. Did you hear that?
That sounds like a Golf.
Sounds like a Golf.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, this is a stylish car. And the wheels. Now, I think they're probably off a later model, but they really do look the part. I like those wheels. They're nice.
It's another piece of, another panel that needs doing.
Yeah, it's all bodywork on this car, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's good, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah. That gives you a sense of security, doesn't it? When someone's looked after a car properly, and we know John's an engineer, and he's obviously loved this car, hasn't he? So, you know, it's like there's new clips everywhere, there's new petrol pump, there's new filters. It gives you a reassurance, doesn't it?
It does. Now, if that is as good as it looks, then I think we're in a good place.
Yeah, no, it looks great in there, in actual fact.
Let's have a look at the other big issues that you get on these cars.
Dare we?
Oh, I don't know, it's worrying, isn't it? Oh, fingers. And yes, I've got good reason to be worried. Splits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if I look a little bit closer, well, I've got 10 splits and cracks. Oh, and this bit's particularly grotty down here as well.
You know what? Somewhere in the back of my mind, I remember somebody replacing one of these.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can buy them, just the skins. I think you can buy them. I also remember them saying that it was an absolute pig of a job to do.
Oh, brilliant.
Nice.
That's exactly what we need. But I think worth doing. I mean, looking at the collective of the jobs that we've got to do, we know we've got a lot of bodywork on this.
Yeah.
The interior needs a load of work. The hood needs a load of work.
We've definitely got to do the hood because
Yeah.
you're never going to sell a car like that. We've definitely got to do the interior because you're never going to sell a car like that. And we've definitely got to do the... I mean, they're three really big things. And I'm counting all this as one. And it's not, of course, is it?
No.
It's massive. Yeah.
Well, it is.
But the only real way to find out mechanically is to give it a drive, isn't it?
Do you know, that's the best thing about our job, isn't it?
The
Getting
driving bit.
cruising around with these smart cars.
With me driving it.
Well, yeah, you doing it this time, eh?
It's important that Will is almost never given the chance to drive. I'm going to start with the positive because this dash is a classic, isn't it? Automotive classic. If you had a picture of that dash in a pub quiz, you'd know exactly what it was. And they were sort of cutting edge by putting the heater controls up here and the radio up here. I love it, absolutely love it.
It's all terribly ergonomic, isn't it?
Yeah, it works really, really well.
From this side of the car, and I know I'm not driving, it feels nice, it feels comfortable, it feels like it's doing everything it should do. I mean, yeah, this car has been round the block a few times, but it seems to me like it's okay.
Yeah, well, it's definitely been used, doesn't it?
And the 1.8 engine, what do you reckon to that?
Well, it's great. It's always great, and it's tight. He's done a really good job on this. I think if we try to look for criticism of the car, it's nothing you wouldn't expect for a car of this age. And if you look at the whole package, I mean, it drives brilliantly. I mean, it really drives brilliantly. The drivetrain's great. The gear change is actually great. The engine, fantastic. It pulls like a train. It's really good. I mean, it's done 180,000 miles, but it's really good. It's a bit crispy around the edges, isn't it? But is this the Volkswagen you want?
Well, it's good to hear your thoughts on how it drives, because that raises my spirits, because it's not exactly a wowee of a car. But there is something to it. I think if this were one of our projects, then we've got enough here to really get our teeth into, turn this into a really nice car. It's halfway there.
And if we could get John to lower the price a bit, that's going to help, isn't it?
Yeah, that would help a lot, but I really don't think that's a very realistic idea.
Well, let's see if we can manoeuvre John into a price reduction.
Oh, hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
How do you get on?
Well, of course, we loved it. It's brilliant.
Oh, I'm
I mean, you've done a
pleased.
great job with it. It drives fantastically.
Oh, I'm really pleased. That's
Very-
kind of you.
it's very
Really
tight.
kind of you.
And of course, we want to take it home, but it rather
Oh, do
depends
you?
on, but it depends on how much money you want for it.
I've advertised it, and I'd like 2,200. I think that's a fair price. I think if you turn the car around, you could make a good profit on that. It's a no-haggle price, gentlemen, so if you're interested, that's it.
Well, what do you think? I'd say that was probably about fair, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
we
think
are.
we ought to go for
Brilliant.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
It'd be a pleasure to own that car.
It really will.
I'm really pleased.
Okay, so we didn't get any money off, but that's the cheapest road-legal golf clipper in the UK, and John threw in a free door as well. You know, when we're making business decisions, we are calculating and we are cold, and I think this time we've also applied a little bit of logic as well.
Well, I think we beat ourselves up. Every time we get something on a trailer, we start thinking, well, what are we going to do to it? How are we going to make the money on it? What are we going to do? Where has it got to be? But in actual fact, what we should do is just pat ourselves on the back and say, we've just bought a really cheap Mark 1 Golf for probably quarter the price of a tin top. That's clever.
Yeah, it is actually, and it does drive, and it's not a total shed.
Exactly. So let's park the thoughts, wait till we get home, and then we can make a plan, work out what we're going to do.
Yeah, with you, cool.
So for once, Will is a little subdued. What has he seen in the Golf that is worrying him, beyond the hill of work we already know about? The next day, we come at it fresh.
So what are we going to do with this car?
First thing we're going to do is agree that it's a cracking little car, isn't it?
I think it is.
And then we're going to come up with a plan.
Excellent.
I was having a look online, actually, and these cars, these clippers in particular, are very popular for people to modify, sort of big wheels and lowered. I think it's the rounded off bumpers which lends itself to that. But it does mean that these cars are more popular than the iconic GTI, which is weird, isn't it?
That is really amazing
Yeah.
and really good to hear as well, because it just proves that we've got the right car for our job.
Yeah, well, I think that'll be our target audience. I really do.
We definitely need to make it look less sad, don't we? At the moment, it doesn't really look too cool, does it? And we're going to have to address the paintwork.
Yeah.
Whether that's doing localised paintwork or maybe wrapping it. I'm not saying we should, I'm just spitting that out, you know?
Well, I'm thinking, yeah, with all of that in mind, we have got to pay some attention to this hood as well.
Yes, we have.
Because that's got some problems, and we've got some decisions to make, do we? Repair what we've got here.
Not really, can we?
We could ignore it.
We can't ignore it, can we?
No. Or we could replace it.
I think that's where we should be going, don't you?
Me too. Yeah, definitely.
And don't forget, we've got a door. We can put the new door on, of course. That gives us a head start, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the other thing we can't ignore, give us a hand taking this top off, is the interior. It doesn't just need a clean, it needs what I call an SC, which is a super clean. It's not really in your DNA, is it?
No, I'm totally cool if you want to take on that job. So let me summarise. We're going to up its game.
Yes.
By 1, 2, 3, or many, many levels.
Yes.
And then hopefully sell it to somebody else who then wants to finish it off, maybe even modify it a load more.
Yes.
Yes, and then we double our money.
Yeah, well, not definitely, but that's the right direction, isn't it?
OK, brilliant.
Photos?
Yes, and a nice cup of tea. I'll go and stick the kettle on.
No, you're taking photos.
Don't know where my camera is. Gus is reasonably good with the pickies, but he wants me to do it this time, so I'm using my first generation smartphone. So, selling a Golf of this age, people are going to be absolutely terrified about finding acres of rust in them. And I'm not surprised, these cars do go rusty. And the sort of person that's going to buy this car is probably going to be wanting to modify it even more. But the nice thing is, it is pretty much rust-free, which is great. So I'm going to get that in there. 185,000 miles is in there. It's got a new MOT. I have got a price rolling around in my head at the moment, and that price is £5,000. Now, I know that I have seen ones a bit cheaper than that, and I also know that I've seen ones that are a bit more expensive than that. So I'm going to put it down as £5,000. This is not an auction. This is no offers. This is £5,000 straight. Wish me luck.
Should we get the hood off?
I'm ready for action.
If we get this hood off, we can get access to this scabby bit of paint, can't we?
It's a good place to start, I reckon.
Yeah.
Golfs are popular with tinkerers because disassembly is logical, but you can't unpick rivets. They've got to be drilled out.
Do you think we have to open it up, peel it back, and then do the next level?
Yeah.
Shall we have a look?
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm hoping. I think we're sort of good on this stage. Right.
So that just pulls off there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just
Right.
glue, isn't it?
So that's that.
That's the horsehair matting, isn't it?
That looks a bit like it's seen better days, doesn't it?
It is actually horsehair.
I think that is serviceable, though. It doesn't look that pretty.
So we want to replace just the skin and not the frame or interior.
Do you think it might have been a good idea to have photographed this as we'd gone along, so we knew how it went back together?
That could have been quite a prudent move, yeah, for sure. We've also forgotten to take out the rear window. Well, if I jump inside,
Yeah, go on then.
release the edges and push them to you.
All right, let's see. What we want to avoid is breaking the screen. Oh, that's out, yeah. That's it.
This is going to wind up being more than just a roof skin, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
So-
realistically, you'd be mad to think you're going to get away with just skinning the roof, aren't you? Because it's the structure's made of steel, isn't it?
Well, now we've seen it, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, dear.
It looks like a skinned fish, doesn't it?
Doesn't look pretty.
No. We're going to have to get one of those frames as well, aren't we?
I'll put that on the list.
Yeah. Should we go home?
Yeah, defo. Not a great start. The hood is worse than it looks. Oh well, we'll see how it looks tomorrow. Good morning.
And the bar's in.
Good morning, little car. And it looks a bit sad. Right then.
We need to have a talk.
We do, about the patchwork quilt.
We need to have a process of assessment, don't we? A damage assessment of our car. OK, I've got it. I am going to draw on the windscreen with your white pen the Malaga Airport hire car damage accumulation chart.
That'll just bring back horrible memories of every time I've taken a car back to the hire centre at Malaga Airport. It's been a horrendous experience.
Another 150 quid.
Yeah, that I wasn't expecting. That scratch wasn't... was there. It was always there. It wasn't me.
There are no pens in the garage, of course, except in the most obvious place. We desperately need focus. With the essential tools in hand, we draw out each panel and confirm which need lots of work, or little, or none. You're going to call them out as you see them, then?
Yeah, OK, I'll start right here. This is the NSR...
NSR...
UP.
What's that? With such magnificent planning, we will minimise wasted effort and maximise materials. It's all about picking battles. That is more than a deposit, isn't it?
Yeah, that's more a case of just run.
But I think we need to edit this now. I think this is what happened is always going to happen.
Yeah,
because
we've got too much to do there.
well, we haven't got a great deal of time
No, we
to do
haven't.
it in either. And we've got to do the roof yet.
OK, let's go around then.
And
Again.
we've got to take the seats out because they've got to be cleaned.
OK.
And we've got to replace the door.
OK.
Yeah.
There's no argument. The seats need a clean. And the wilting door is switched over for the spare. Oh,
Stop!
that's quite heavy. Yeah. Right, OK. Do you know, there's something about the Volkswagens that just makes you smile, isn't there? It just fits beautifully. And with the smallest number of panels assigned to paint, it's now just a masking up job. Right, so this is the thing. The extra badge on this car is a Cabriolet. And it is stuck on with double-sided foam sticky tape, so watch this. We're doing a proper job, and all the trim needs to come off too. And because it's a VW, that's all doable.
I've taken the grill off. I've just taken the bumper off because it's all in the detail. And now we've got another problem. So I've just taken the bumper off, and taking the bumper off so that we can prep the front panel of the car has revealed this huge hole down here in the wing. That's exactly the trouble with cars of this age. So you take something off to get access, and then you find out the next bit that's rotted away. So the next thing to do is to take this little spat off here, the part of the body kit, and then we'll see what the next bit reveals, shall we? I don't know why I'm laughing. The wheel arches and body kit might hide nasty rust, and if they do, once revealed, there is no going back. So we've nearly got a body kit. The only thing is, some idiot has jacked the car up exactly where the last screw is. Who could have possibly done that? Even that's not an easy job. The inner arches need to come off first, and now we'll see what we've really got. And the wheel arches are barely there. This is a disaster. I told you it'd be all right under there, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, yeah. It's coming on well, Gus. We're going to need some new ones of those, aren't we?
Yes, that's going to be a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, we didn't. We should have seen that coming, I suppose. It's saved us having to make some decisions on it, hasn't it? I mean,
yeah, well, I mean, you're never going to repair that, are you? So,
no, you're not.
So new wings is an honest way of doing it, isn't it?
it is. Just a bit of a surprise, and probably really something we could have done without.
Yeah, time-wise and cost-wise, definitely. Well, cost-wise, definitely, but
Yeah.
but we can find them. Shall I do these? Are you going to do that?
Yeah, I'm going to get stuck in stuff at the back.
OK.
Stuff, yeah.
I'll take these off.
We can't not do the painting at the back. We're already prepared for it. So I'll carry on with that. Back end of the car's actually not too bad. The paint is faded on the boot lid, but it's all quite flat. It's quite nice. So it's a quick flat back before we put some filler primer on there to make it really lovely before the top coat.
So I just thought I'd wick these wings off. I've been at it for an hour now, and I've had to cut all the underseal off. There's an inch of underseal. I've had to cut it all off, all the way up, and pull the wing up. I mean, I have ruined, well, it's already ruined, but I've ruined the wing. But somebody in Wolfsburg was having a right laugh because there's 3 screws clearly visible. Then the last one in the corner is under an inch of underseal. And I've been pulling and pulling and pulling, and nothing's been happening. I've got it now, though. Yeah, that's nearly there. I don't want to touch that. Oh. Look at that.
I'm into the last stages of masking up. It's a bit like wrapping a Christmas present, isn't it? And unfortunately, that's exactly the reason I have to wrap all the Christmas presents at home.
That looks great.
Yeah, I love this sort of work. It's kind of nice, really therapeutic.
It is very therapeutic, isn't it? It's a lovely thing to be able to do. All right, then. Well, I'll see you in the morning, all right?
Cool. Cheers, mate. Have
All
a
right.
good one. OK, while Gus gets the wings, it's primer time. Like with everything, preparation is 99% of the work. It's taken hours to get to this stage. Putting on the paint, and this is the primer I'm putting on first, is a fraction of that time. First coat, very quick. Lay the first coat on really, really light. As you go into your second and third coats, you can build up the weight of the paint on it. First coat needs to absorb some moisture from the second and third coat, so it's really important. Dust coat first. It's day 3. We don't have much time left. Can we get it all done?
These are our patent wings, so instead of patching the car up, we've bought a set of wings for it. And it sounds strange, doesn't it, that you can unbolt a wing and bolt another one back on rather than going through the rigmarole of fixing what was there. But you saw what was there. It was a horror show, and it would be a nightmare to repair in time and money. So you buy a wing, which effectively looks like a bit of new car because it really is a bit of new car. It's the same as the wing that was on there. You unbolt the old one, you bolt on a new one, you spray it, and then, maybe not the person who buys the car after us, but the person after that does the same again because it's just what happens. They rot away. They're not made of very thick metal.
Front balance actually wasn't too bad, which is a winner. I got away with just cleaning off a bit of surface rust, putting some rust preventative on there, skimmer filler, bit of primer, and ready for the proper primer.
Just putting the wings in primer. It's funny, once you get them into primer and you get it rubbed down, it starts looking like a proper car. In actual fact, that stage of a car, when you've got flat primer over every surface that you sprayed, it's really beautiful. It gives it a beautiful soft sheen, and it's very tempting to leave it like that.
Last panel in our patchwork quilt of painting on this car, the bonnet. Got to be a bit careful with this because if I lay the paint on too thick, it's going to pool everywhere. So light coats and lots of them. A professional paint job on a car like this would be around £3,000 to £5,000, depending on the prep needed. Our time is our resource, but the paint alone will set us back 250 quid.
You doing that for me?
I am, yeah. Making
you.
way for you, look.
Very kind.
There you are.
Lovely, thank you very much. Well, I did have them on. I offered them up earlier. They did seem to fit quite well, actually. What's that look
So I'm going to play with the other side.
All right. Well, that's all right, doesn't it? That's just...
Yeah, it's looking good.
Yeah.
Good job. So here's the trick. We're fitting pattern wings onto an original car. chances are the pattern wings are going to be slightly different. And even if they were genuine Volkswagen wings, you'd always go through the same process. You put the wing on first, loosely, and you kind of feel it, and you kind of check each bit as you go. And then as you feel more confident that that bit's in the right place, you can start nipping bits up. The wing's got to be correct, front to back. The wing's got to be correct in and out. And if you just go wanging a load of bolts in there a bit tight everywhere, you'll never get it into the right place, and it'll always look like rubbish. So we carefully work it in a bit at a time. How's your side looking?
It's about the same, I'd have to say. A little bit bigger down there than it is down there, exactly.
Right, OK. Yeah, mine's about the same. I'm going to try and pull this out, smidge in then. Oh, yeah, it does move.
The bonnet?
Yeah, no, the wings come out a little bit.
Well, yours isn't done up down the bottom, don't you?
No. Well, you know what, Gus? I would say this is a beautiful position for you to crack on with painting it now. And wouldn't it be a good idea for me now, as the rest of this looks like a one-man job, and I'm desperate to go and get that interior cleaned by our nice friend.
Yes. The interior, yes.
Yeah.
Cleaned.
Yes.
You're
you're in utter disbelief, aren't you? Me,
It's
thinking
good,
about
I can't
cleaning.
wait. I can't wait to see it.
Well, I am envious. You get to do the paintwork, but there you go. I shall see. That's beautifully smooth. I shall see you later. Have a good one.
See you later.
Our little Golf holds its own quite well when it comes to quality, cleanliness, and all of the bits being there. But there is one massive bit that lets it down above everything else, and that's the upholstery on the seats, the interior, basically. It looks like somebody has had a nasty accident involving a can of pop on a hot day, and there's this sticky residue everywhere. Cleaning seats is not really my speciality. I struggle with getting my own hands clean. So I've taken this opportunity to get in an expert, this expert, involved to help me out. Hello, Nick.
Hi, Will. How you doing?
So these are the seats I told you all about on the telephone. What do you reckon?
Well, I like a challenge.
I'll admit it now. I'm a novice painter, but my hand, right now, cannot shake. While all that is going on, various cleaning discs are cutting down the stains and hopefully removing them from the cotton squabs.
Well, Nick, hiya. I can hear this. I can hear a lot of very, very industrious noises coming from down here.
Dirty fingers.
Oh, sorry. Well, I'll look with my eyes rather than my fingers. Those are looking really great.
Yeah, they come out really well.
That paint is looking superb. So I'm going to leave that for 20 minutes, but I've got to get the masking off it because you've got to get it off while it's still relatively wet. I get to have a break, and the last bit of the interior goes on the bench.
No, I thought you would struggle with that bit.
I haven't tried it yet.
Oh, haven't you?
No.
Oh, well, that's good news, because that is a particularly nasty stain. I have got a bit of a confession here.
OK.
Because when we got this car, I'm pretty certain that it didn't have that stain.
Right.
And I'm also pretty certain it wasn't Gus that did it.
OK.
How are you going to get that out, then?
Same process, and I know straight away whether it's going to work or not.
Well, I'm totally amazed, because to me, that looks like it's come off the underside of a rather nasty engine or gearbox, or potentially even worse. So I'd like to see how that is done.
You're welcome. Stay and watch.
Cool. Come on, then. Right, you crack on, then. Show me how you work your magic.
Right. OK. First of all, we'll try a bit of spot and stain remover, spraying onto the cloth.
Uh-huh.
And we'll see what comes off on the cloth. OK.
OK, I see. So that really is picking us up on the cloth. I can see it.
I'm going to try something else now. Bit of
OK.
degreaser.
That's looking good.
All done.
Wow, look at that. That's brilliant. That really is. I mean, it's made such a tremendous difference to the interior of this car, which is great, great news. I'm really impressed. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Nice attention to detail.
Hands.
The paint is touch dry at last. And I didn't mess it up. It's time to go home.
It's day 4, almost the last one to finish the Golf. And we've got our trimming guys to help with the hood.
That's had a bit of shot, isn't it? Frame's all right, though.
The factory skins are on a 6-week wait and they cost 600 quid. But these guys can get the job done now and it's cheaper.
Pete and Steve are here. We're going to put a new roof on the Golf. Aha, you made it. What do you reckon then? Doable. Oh, that's good. I've heard horror stories about how long these take.
8 hours.
8 hours. That means I'm going to have to get lunch, doesn't it?
No, we'll do it in 4. You will get lunch. Did you get a frame?
Yeah, we've got one. You've got your hand on it.
Well, this one's rotten, so it's a good job we brought another one with us.
Did you bring one with you?
Let's get this swapped out
OK.
and get the roof on.
Fantastic. Shall we crack on?
We shall crack on.
Brilliant.
It's such a relief they came prepared, as the only frames I found online were £250 plus, and really no better than ours. But I can lend labour. In typical Volkswagen fashion, the assembly is well made and difficult to unpack.
All right, Gus.
Yeah, how does that come out, Pete? How is that in there?
Literally, it's a little nylon pin.
Oh, so this, I'm doing the right
You're
thing.
doing the right thing, yeah. If you
Forward.
lever that out, it should come out with a little screwdriver, and then sometimes there's a little pin that will appear.
Uh-huh.
And you've just
Oh,
a
that's
little
it
bit of
there.
fiddling about. That's it.
A bit of a wiggle.
Wiggle,
There we
and
go.
it comes out. Most people have a habit of just cutting them off.
No.
Yeah, and it causes so
What,
much...
cutting the webbing off?
They cut the webbing off, and the webbing goes halfway up the length of the roof, which causes you a multitude of problems.
I can imagine.
And just doing that, and that's it.
I'll look after that, yeah?
Yeah, you must keep that.
Oh, yeah, that is bad, isn't it?
Absolutely shot, isn't it? It's all rusted away. That's...
Are they difficult to find?
They are. They can be really hard to get hold of, these. And this bit holds your window in, so,
Yeah, so
the
the
metal flange has to be on there.
Yeah, and it's not.
No.
So that's exactly the same, isn't it?
Yeah, you can see the difference. See how more pronounced
Yes.
the metal is,
Yes.
not being rotten.
Yeah. So actually that goes that way,
goes
doesn't
up,
it?
That's it.
Yeah. So do you want to put those in there and I'll bolt these on here?
Yeah, no, if you put these in first...
Oh, these got to go in first.
yeah,
Right.
because it's easier to... They're a little bit awkward,
Uh-huh.
so you just you keep this up straight, tuck them in first,
Yep.
and then so just a little bit of a wiggle,
Yep.
get the pin in,
Yep.
and little tug, and it's done.
Perfect.
The pin in,
Put it in, spin it
a little
in.
bit of wiggle there. That's it,
Ooh,
done.
That's it, isn't it?
That's it, done.
The fabric underskin is replaced. And then it's time to get the actual hood tensioned up.
Gus and I should be checking the internet on a regular basis to see how our auctions are getting on. But we don't. And the reason we don't is because it's a little bit disappointing if we're not doing very well and if there are no bids. Today, however, is slightly different. We still have no bids, but we do have 28 watches, and we do have one question. And it is this: does it have a GTI engine in it? No, it doesn't. Have a good look at the listing. Is it the same engine as a GTI? Good question, internet user. I don't know the answer to that, so I, like yourself, shall be checking. The answer is a resounding yes, if you want to know.
You got it. That's it.
So I've got to keep this cable on the outside, have I?
Yeah. Tension cable's on the outside, and we've got to basically put the tension
Oh,
bolts.
so we're tensioning it now. Tension it first.
Yes,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, OK. Great.
Yeah. And that cable comes up through that channel.
So basically, that thread going through that flat there, and the same on the other side, tensions the whole of the back of the hood.
Correct.
Underneath this lip.
Yep.
Yeah. It was difficult to get off. I bet it's even more difficult to get on, isn't it?
Put it this way, it's fiddly.
Right on that corner, right next to the seam. Is that right? Is that right?
Yep, that's it. I'm going to do the same on this side.
The whole challenge with hoods is to get the tension right so the fabric is taut but doesn't tear.
Oh, Pete, look at that. That looks amazing, doesn't it?
It looks wonderful, doesn't it?
Yeah, well done you. That looks fantastic. Rear window?
Right window is
Brilliant.
the next section.
Right, so what we got to do, cut it then.
We've got to cut a hole. And
You want
then-
me to cut it?
Yes.
You must be joking. You must be joking. I'll make tea.
You'll
You
be-
cut it. Go on.
Oh, come on.
No,
Are
I'll
you
make-
sure?
Yeah, yeah, go
Honestly,
on.
Do you want me to do
Come
it?
on.
Yeah, definitely.
The first cut
Is it the deepest?
is the deepest. There we go. It's got a hole in it now.
Yeah, it's got a hole in it now. Don't worry, we've got... Oh, no, we haven't.
We ain't got another thing. We better go and get that cup of tea, haven't we?
I'll make tea.
And finally, the back window is ready to be inserted.
All ready?
for us.
Yeah, all ready for you boys. He's all in now.
Right. Oh, that's
There you
amazing.
go.
Yeah, you actually feel it gripping in, don't you?
It's not that difficult, is it?
No.
Come on,
Brilliant.
Gus. We got you for that.
Oh, sorry. You were spot on. Hard half day, isn't it?
And the result is superb.
We have 5 days to do our cars, and this is the biggie. The last one on our VW Golf Clipper. Wow, that's a nice colour, isn't it?
It looks amazing, doesn't it? I'm resisting that inert feeling that I should stand back with a cup of tea and a biscuit for 20 minutes looking at it. Do you know what I mean? With a pipe, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be quite nice. I don't see the reason why not. I mean, no point rushing it. It's absolutely chucking it down with rain out there.
Yeah, but it's got to go out today, this.
Today?
Yes.
Is it today already?
Yeah, this has got to go out. We've got to put all the interior in and all the bumpers and... Oh, I mean, there's a huge amount of work to do on this car.
I hadn't realised what day it was. It's really flown by, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't remember where most of the bits are. Only joking. I can remember where some of them are.
Good. Well, we should get on then.
And then it's a steam clean for the carpets, a refit on the panels and the interior, and yes, even a little bit of cleaning. We're done. What does the Golf owe us? We spent 2.2 on the car, the wings were 187, the hood and labour was 600, the interior pro cleaning was £150, and 350 went on other bits, which brings us close to a not inconsiderable £3,500.
So what is it about these little Volkswagens that makes everybody go mad for them?
Are you asking me a question? Because I've got a feeling you're just about to tell me the answer.
Well, I'll tell you the answer, and it's pertinent to this car in particular. They are fantastic to look at, aren't they? And it's not just the lines on the outside, is it? It's the fabric of the seats, it's the dashboard. They're not just design classics. They're design icons, aren't they? And they're brilliantly engineered, and they're fantastic to drive.
Yeah, well, for me, it's the fact that this is the convertible. Now, unfortunately, the convertibles are a little bit overlooked.
Yes.
You can go out and buy a GTI. It'll cost you 3 times the money, and it is a slightly different car with slightly different appeal. But this is the convertible, and it's not actually that much different, and they're beautiful cars.
Yeah, I agree. So basically, we've got more than we bargained for. A better car than we bargained for. We've aimed high and we've slipped up and gone stratospheric.
Well, yeah, we certainly end up with a lot more work than we actually intended. But the thing is, with all of that extra work, the result is we have now got a car which is so much better.
Yeah, those words are the words of kings. And I think I've got a little tear, actually.
Oh, I've got a bit of blue roll if you want it.
Oh, lovely.
And now to the road. And no, Will is not allowed to drive.
Well, it's amazing, isn't it, to think that the Mark I Golf was designed and built in the 1970s. That's a seriously old car now, isn't it?
It really is,
When
yeah.
you think of old cars, you think baggy suspension and no performance. But this is not that. This is a cracker still.
Well, you've got to also, you know, you're thinking about this car and just recognising all of those cars that really made motoring history. The Fiat 500, the old Mini, the new Mini, the Beetle, the iconic Land Rover. This car, the Golf, is right up there on that list as well. It's just a great car.
And it really shows how much bigger cars have gotten, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Because actually, this is the size of a Fiesta or a Polo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a toy, really.
Yeah, it is, but it's still a very iconic toy, and I salute it for that. So, when it comes to saluting the car, I'd love to salute a good sale, but we've got to have for £5,000, yeah?
Yeah, and you think it's a bit cheap, I can see that.
I do, yeah. I'm worried about that. What do you think to that?
Well, I think £5,000 because there is just so many of them for sale at the moment. So I was thinking about maybe drumming up some support for it on forums or some interest for it on forums, just to let people know that it is a good car, because it is a good car, isn't it?
So my worry was that it was too cheap. Now my worry is that it's too cheap and we got no interest. Is that true?
Yeah, nada, nothing at all.
Oh, great.
But at least the sun's shining.
Brilliant. Let's look on the bright side. Yes, what a beautiful day. The Golf is too cheap looking at our spend, but we're worried about asking more. Within a week, the online placements attract interest, but not always good interest. People aren't following up. Okay, look, if you are definitely coming, then I'll keep waiting for you. But yeah, please be as quick as you can. I'm getting bored. I want to show you our beautiful car. All right. Cheers, then. Bye-bye. Maybe the Golf is too cheap. Maybe people are worried it's a rot box. I've come in to show somebody around the Golf, and unfortunately, they've not turned up, which is slightly frustrating. I've been here an hour. But I suppose it's sort of highlighting thoughts. And the thoughts are, do we reduce the price of the car and make less money, which I don't really fancy doing, or do we hold fast, knowing full well that the prices of these Golfs are going up? I suppose it's decision time, isn't it? Gus and I have got to put our heads together and decide exactly what to do.
Well, you know the answer. We drop the price to £4,800 and get an instant pledge to buy. In 2 weeks.
I knew a Volkswagen would be good for us.
That was my idea. And it's good to know that great minds think alike.